Hey guys, Jonah here, back with a beer review, and I'm gonna do another one from the Beer 52 box, and it's the Midlands box. And I don't know about you, but when I think of the Midlands, I definitely think of Birmingham. Um, that's, I mean, some people would say that's quite far south, um, and the Midlands doesn't start till you get up to Coventry and that sort of stuff. But coming from the south, born in near London and all that kind of stuff. Even though my family, like I've said many times, is from way up in the north, near the wall. Um, yeah, I've always thought Midlands means Birmingham, and that's what we're doing today. So, for those of you that don't know, Birmingham is here, this big thing here, and we are doing this one, Birmingham Brew Co. Um, and there's a couple of different ones based in Birmingham, but we're doing this one today. And it's an interesting one because when I saw this, I thought, oh, it's a lager, Brummy Pilsner, Stirchley lager, whatever the hell that is, Birmingham Brewing Company. But when I read some more, it's quite interesting because it says it's got wheat in it, and it's dry hopped with Simcoe. Which is interesting. So it's going to be a bit citrusy, orangey, etc., etc. Really, really interesting. You got all the nonsense about vegans and pregnant ladies and how you should avoid all of that kind of stuff. Vegan and gluten-free Brummy beer, brewed using 100% renewable energy, canned for flavour, etc., etc., etc. So again, that's interesting. I would quite like to read an article about this particular brewery, but alas, it is not in the Beer 52 magazine. So maybe they'll run something on them later. But 100% renewable, that is a bold claim. And I'm not sure I believe them. For example, this is a can. Obviously, cans are renewable, recyclable. The paper, the printing, all of that kind of stuff. Everything renewable? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. But unfortunately, I'm a cynic. I'm a stoic, and I'm a cynic. It's interesting. I've been reading some of the writings, the meditations, in fact, of Marcus Aurelius, and yeah, he was very stoic, as some of you may know. Quite good. Accept the world as it is, not as people tell you as it is. If that makes sense. Right, let's get this bad boy into a glass. Oh, that's interesting. For having wheat in it, my God, is that clear? Especially considering, look at that. I mean, it's going a bit cloudy because I've had it in the fridge because it's a lager, but look, you can definitely see through that bad boy. Vegan and gluten free. Interesting. So they've probably done things to this beer. And for a vegan beer to be so exceptionally clear. I mean, I would call that, look at that, you can see my face definitely through there. I would call that crystal clear. And for doing that without using regular finings, I would like to know what's in there. Boom. And there we go. So let us see what we get from this bad boy. Let's swirl it around a bit. Apparently there's some football going on as well. And when I say football, I don't mean American football. I mean soccer football, proper football. Kicking a ball with your foot, not holding it in your hand. Not going to go on about that, but yeah, very bizarre. Really light on the nose, really clean, but I am getting a bit of that kind of citrusy thing. I'm not getting a juicy kind of orangey citrusy thing, which I usually get from Simcoe. And yeah, do I need to talk about the head or lack of? There is none. Right, let's get cracking. I think this might be quite a short video purely because lager is lager, and there's not a huge amount to talk about it, but a hopped lager, you never know. Cheers and beers, welcome to the weekend, dear viewer. Bottoms up. Oh, really, really clean, really crisp. Yeah, I can see it's a Pilsner because it's got that kind of, I think adding a wheat or a tiny bit of wheat malt definitely gives beers, and by that I mean lagers a lot of the time, although they do use it in a lot of stuff these days. It gives it that little smoothness that a really super dry normal lager, i.e. one without wheat, a Reinheitsgebot crazy lager. But Pilsners are a different beast. They're a little bit more refined, a little bit more smooth. I think for me, my favourite is the kind of Bohemian Pilsner. I think I've probably said this to you guys before. And this is not far off. Being a hopped beer or a dry hopped beer, I'm not really getting that, to be honest. Like I say, there's a very slight amount on the nose. In the mouth, maybe a little bit, but not so much, unless you're really looking for it. No. If someone said, oh, this is just a generic lager, I'd be like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Oh, I didn't tell you how strong, did I? It does say 4.4. So it's quite a light lager too. I'm out doing, I think I said the other day, and why not subscribe and then you can check out my back catalogue. You can check it out anyway. But I'm going to a beer festival tomorrow, doing some stuff, doing some judging, as is my want. Probably going to have, I've highlighted 17 beers, and I hope to sample. I'm not drinking a pint of each, you understand. But I'm hoping to sample. If I get near half that, I'll be happy. Cheers and beers. Yeah, really crisp. Maybe the maybe the Simcoe kind of juiciness is adding to that initial kind of taste. So usually Simcoe, like I say, is a kind of more juicy kind of thing. But in this kind of style, perhaps it's upping the bitterness a little bit right at the beginning. So maybe I'm getting a bit of peel, but it's really up front, and it's really dry, which is unusual. Usually Simcoe paired with, say, oats, which happens in a lot of these new modern pale ales, kind of gives this creamy kind of thing, but that's not what's going on here. Really interesting, really interesting. I didn't think I was going to like this because it's a lager at the end of the day, but if you dial in your brain cells and think, maybe there's something going on behind the scenes, that's what you get. But you do have to think, you know, you have to attune yourself to drinking a beer. Whereas normally with a lager, lager, and you just neck plenty. Could probably do that with this, but I'm not going to. Yeah, it's really weird. It's like just giving you a sort of a wave of what it could be if this was a pale ale, which it's not. dry hopped lager. Interesting. I tried to make one once, and I've tried other people's as well that they've made. I used Amarillo, so not too dissimilar to Simcoe in the fact that it gives sort of orangey citrus kind of vibes. I always think marmalade, whereas Simcoe is a bit more kind of juicy. Um, this is more interesting than I thought it would be. Just want to find out how they make their beers 100% renewable. Are they solely talking about the energy? What do they do with their byproducts, their malts and their hops? Some people give their malts to sort of farms for like pigs and animal feed and that type of stuff. But hops, what do you do with hops to be 100% sustainable? Maybe you could make it sort of into some biofuel somehow. Don't know. And there it goes. Weirdly, as I was drinking that can, the orange kind of flavour came through more the lower I got down in the glass, which is interesting. There is Stirchley Lager. No, what's it? I was going to say Bohemian Brummy Pilsner at 4.4% on the ABV by Birmingham Brew Co. That is quite interesting. More interesting than your normal macro lager, put it that way. This has been your loving Uncle Jonna, drinking beers for your entertainment, so you don't have to. Like I say, tomorrow I'm going to be out most of the day, in fact, because I've got to cross half the county in bus and train, and then another bus. Absolutely nuts. Anyway, it's going to take me a couple of hours to get there, have a few beers, and then a couple of hours to get back again. I'm going to be knackered, so probably won't be doing a video tomorrow, unless, of course, I decide to do some sort of recording from the festival itself, which never goes to plan properly. But hey, we'll see what happens. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Uncle Jonna will return with another beer review real soon.